No matter how many times this tournament was brought down, it somehow always came back to life. This is the story of the Arab Cup, a tournament reborn again this week in Qatar. Today it's under the jurisdiction of FIFA, played in world-class stadiums and broadcasted to millions, but its history, well, it was anything but easy. It all began in 1962. In Lebanon. A journalist named Nassif Majdalani dreamed of uniting the Arab world through football, and somehow he made it real. 5 nations played in 1963, 5 again in 64, and 10 nations played in 1966. Iraq dominated early with 2 titles, but it wasn't football that was the priority back then. You see, Israel was still part of the AFC back then and hosted the 1964 Asian Cup, so over 10 nations boycotted. So Lebanon and Kuwait doubled down on the Arab Cup. This is football as Arab unity. But then came the 1967 war and the Arab Cup vanished. In its place came the Palestine Cup of Nations, another attempt at Arab solidarity, but that vanished after 3 editions. And in 1982, plans to revive the Arab Cup collapsed again because Israel invaded Lebanon. But finally, in 1985, the Arab Cup returned to Saudi Arabia. Now this was one of the first instances of B teams, as Iraq sent their B team and still won. But politics would continue to linger in the background. Egypt, frozen out after Camp David, came back in 1988. But once again, it was Iraq, winning their 4th straight title and cementing themselves as Arab Cup legends. But they couldn't chase a 5th because politics. The Gulf War had them banned. And despite a lot of reluctance, Syria hosted the 1992 Arab Cup under the Arab Games, and Egypt won with a masterpiece of a bicycle kick. And then again followed years of silence. Now when the Arab Cup returned in 1998, most of Africa's sides sent B teams. And so for the first time ever, we saw a Final Four of all Gulf sides as Saudi Arabia lifted the crown for the first time. Now 2002 brought a second Saudi win, but no Tunisia, Algeria and Egypt, all too busy with AFCON. And then the spiral. The Arab Cup was planned for 2009, but the main sponsor pulled out. So it was revived in 2012 with Morocco under 23 defeating Libya, but the tournament was never the same. Until Qatar 2021. Originally planned as a rehearsal for the World Cup, it turned into an amazing show. Packed stadiums, derbies reborn, 17,000 fans per match, and Algeria crowned champions for the first time. Now it's back in Qatar once again. The qualifiers gave us games like Lebanon against Sudan, Yemen against Comoros, stories you won't hear anywhere else. And now 16 teams will fight to become the kings of Arab football. But was this tournament ever about football? I mean, history says otherwise. This tournament has always been about identity. But the future? Well, it might be brighter than ever. Now, will we ever see the likes of Salah and Hakimi facing off at the Arab Cup? Maybe not. But that doesn't deny the potential of the Arab Cup, nor what it's always been about. A small idea that has refused to die.